says tornado, what the world, and the rest of the world says tornado. That's a joke that was not written by me. I'm going to ignore that. Anyway, yeah, that was actually Rafi Schwartz of the Splinter News. It sounded better in writing. I'll give credit to Rafi Schwartz. Anyway, now to another story about Rafi Schwartz. As the government reluctantly scrambles to reunite undocumented immigrant children from their families. We all know this. They have been ordered by a judge in California to say enough is enough. We need to reunite these kids. We need to reunite them now. And it's very, very important that you do so. As the government reluctantly scrambles to reunite undocumented immigrant children from their families ahead of the court-mandated deadline, new filing from the Justice Department and U.S. District Court of the Southern District of California contains the ominous, entirely unexplained update on one of the children. So this is the update here. One child cannot be reunified at this time because the parent's location has been unknown for more than a year. Defendants are unable to conclusively determine whether the parent is a class member, and records show the parent and child might be U.S. citizens. So, wait a minute. The parent and the child might be U.S. citizens, and they have not been reunified? They were separated in the first place? What? Yeah, not only can the feds not find this kid's parent, which should have been in some kind of system, some kind of database at one point or another, like Nexus, I don't even know. But apparently they cannot find the kids, which is kind of inexplicable because, like, what? Yeah, that's going to be something definitely worth watching in the future. We're going to move on now to our next story, and it's the scandal surrounding Republican Congressman Jim Jordan. The scandal about what Republican Congressman Jim Jordan may have known about the ongoing sexual assault during his time as an assistant wrestling coach at Ohio State University just keeps growing. We will tell you what's been happening when we return, so stay with us. We're going to take a very quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, August 1st, we have something very exciting coming to the Spencer Walsh Radio Network. And I'm telling you guys, the news flash listeners, about this first, because I really know that you guys, if you listen to this podcast, you like good news, good stories, what you like to be informed about what's going on in the world. And on this show, cue the theme music. On this show, it's called Spotlight. And what we're going to be doing is exploring some of the most important issues permeating our society today. The ones you hear about in the news that go away after a few days, and you're like, oh, I wish I could have explored that more. Well, in Spotlight, you're going to get the chance to do so. With a 4-episode first season beginning August 1st, every Wednesday. And you can listen to it wherever podcasts are sold. Wherever you get your podcasts, subscribe right now. And you can do that because this episode is going to be our trailer. So search up the keyword Spotlight and then add Spencer Walsh Radio Network and subscribe right now. Get ready for August 1st because it's coming. All right, so yeah, that is a little bit of announcement about our show Spotlight coming out very soon. But now we got to get back to the scandal here about what Republican Congressman Jim Jordan may have known. And he pretty much pulled a Joe Paterno to a much worse Jerry Sandusky he was the assistant. He was the assistant wrestling coach. And this doctor, by the name of Richard Strauss, has been sexually assaulting team members, and he's been very, very touchy with the underparts of these wrestlers, just to say the least. So this week, though, an 8th former OSU wrestler came forward to claim that Jim Jordan had not only knew about allegations that the physician, Dr. Richard Strauss, had been sexually assaulting team members, but that he'd, quote, just snickered when the player had told Jordan, who's the assistant wrestling coach, that the doctor had, quote, held my balls for longer than normal. So, like, he was told about it directly by an OSU player, and Jim Jordan just snickered. That was his reaction, apparently. So, he was never charged for religious abuse. The doctor is dead now. He died in 2005. In April, Ohio State University announced an investigation into the accusations. And while Jordan himself had been accused of committing any assault, a growing chorus of former wrestlers claimed that not only he knew what was going on, but did not act to protect them from the claim, what they claim was ongoing and widely acknowledged abuse at the hands of their team doctor. Jordan has vehemently denied any wrongdoing. He's sitting there and he's directly lying, said the latest accuser, who spoke anonymously with CNN. Jordan's allies, meanwhile, have begun circling the wagon around their increasingly radioactive associate. Some claim he's a victim of a deep state boogeyman, supposedly aiming to topple the Trump administration. On Wednesday, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan described Jordan as a man of integrity, while the ultra-conservative Freedom Caucus colleagues of his offered, quote, 100% support. Yeah, so this is a guy accusing of snickering at the face of literal sexual assault of college wrestlers. Literal, like, no bones about it, sexual assault. Like, almost as bad. It's like, it's a minor version of what Joe Paterno did with Jerry Sandusky. Saying, quote, Jim Jordan's a man of integrity, and we believe him and stand with him 100%. If he had seen or heard something, he would have acted. We continue to support his work in Congress and fight for everyday Americans. Because, like, he's probably doing a pretty good job of doing what he's supposed to, like a good boy. He's a good boy fighting for his donors. Aww. Perhaps least surprising is the support offered to Jordan by Donald Trump, himself an admitted sexual predator, who said, I don't believe him at all. F him. F those sexual accusers. Like, that's the real Donald Trump way, if you're looking for that. Now CNN is contracting. This is the best tweet. This is the best tweet from Jim Jordan, talking about his ailments and his struggles. And when he does this, he also kind of describes the definition of actual reporting, which is interesting. So yeah, he says now at CNN is contacting all 100 plus of our former staff and interns, asking for dirt on me, getting desperate. How can you ever trust such fake news? Sorry, Jim. That's not desperation. That's how reporting works. Boom! You tell him. Anyway, so we got to kind of speed things up here. We're going to move to Shree Thanedar. And so he is supposedly Bernie Sanders-esque progressive running in Michigan. His policies like single-payer health care and a $15 minimum wage that have become increasingly the rallying cries of the Democratic politicians. Supposedly, he has spent millions in television ads. Shree Thanedar, he's a business person. We've covered him on the show before. And let's play a little bit of him right now. He promised he would bring single-payer health care. Healthcare is not a privilege, it is the fundamental right. Sorry.
Everyone deserves healthcare. On that,
this is
I
his
agree
ad.
with Shree.
Healthcare is not a privilege. It is
I was
our
right.
fundamental right. I will bring single-payer healthcare to Michigan.
Agree? Vote for Shree. The most
Agree? Vote for Shree. Yes. We need to vote for Shree. Yes. Well, wait. Over the last year, investigations by The Intercept have revealed many facts which cast doubt into Thanedar's progressive branding. He donated $1,000 to John McCain. He talked and went to all these Marco Rubio rallies in the last election cycle. And several Michigan political consultants have claimed Thanedar consulted them about possibly running Republican. In other words, he's a fraud. Michiganians don't believe anything he says. All right. Pretty much for our next story, we're going to simplify it here. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar tried to reset the narrative around Trump administration family separation policy in a CNN interview, calling it one of the greatest acts of American generosity and charity. Oh my God. Like, where do I even begin? I think we all know why this is an absolutely ridiculous comment. Blocking kids in cages, actually, though, probably is the best this American government has to offer. because they are a bunch of a stupid, rabid pack of braying dogs. Anyway, Frank Bruni, who's a flailing man who casts aimlessly about for newspaper column ideas in a manner of a blind koala bear slowly waving his paws in hopes of grasping a eucalyptus leaf, is the answer to the question: can someone without any actual thoughts or ideas become a prominent New York Times columnist? Sadly, yes. He is literally the man in the middle, with no political ideas, philosophies, or reasons why for existing. Anyway, the center is sexier than you think is the unfortunate headline of Bruni's column recently, unfortunately for many reasons, one of which is the juxtaposition with a prominent quote from a man saying the real story out of these Democratic primaries isn't the left or the right. It's women. So this is Frank's thesis. Enough about the Freedom Caucus. Enough about the Democratic Socialists of America. They're flamboyant players in our political debate. Yeah, the DSA, they're everywhere. They spend $millions. They have so many people elected to represent. Oh, come on. They're flamboyant players in our political debate, but they're extremes. More politicians and more Americans occupy the expansive territory in between. Oh, yes. That's where the pivotal races in 2018 are being fought. And if Democrats take back the House, it's where any legislation with a prayer, just a prayer, of getting through Congress will be hammered out. This is literally probably the most common thought ever uttered by people who live in Washington, D.C., or the city I'm in right now, New York City. It's like pretty much it goes along the lines of, all right, we're going to chill, we're going to relax, we're going to vibe out, and we're going to rock it out in the radical center, where all the Americans really are. Okay. Yeah, so imagine, if you will, working for decades on the most prestigious institution in American journalism, being rewarded with a plum gig of an op-ed columnist, which grants you unparalleled platform to put forth bold ideas that will be scrutinized by the most powerful people in the nation. It's a big opportunity. The assessment of this opinion of the way America is today dovetailed with the status report on the midterms that NPR published in a website last week. In interviews with more than a dozen Democrats running in Pennsylvania, Illinois, Texas, California, Nebraska, and Washington State, it found that NPR found that pragmatism is winning out over progressivism in key races that will decide the control of Congress. Why read a story on NPR's website when you can just wait a week and read the boring sentence from it quoted in a full Frank Bruni column? This is why the man is paid the big bucks. Yeah, pretty much Frank Bruni is the most boring, centrist writer you'll ever meet. No one outside of Washington, D.C. reads him just the same way with the entire New York Times opinion column. If you respect Frank Bruni in any way, I lose a significant amount of respect for you. It's like the Slate Political Gab Fest, everybody. That's the podcast sheet. I have a lot of stories to tell you about my past week here in the Big Apple and my next week to come, and I will tell you them. But it's a lot of fun. I'll get to those a little bit later in future podcast episodes. We'll just put it that way. So anyway, yeah. Okay, here's another report. This is pretty much where the headline. In a truly troubling sign of poor judgment, Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh says he racked up huge sums of credit card debt purchasing season tickets to watch the chronically disappointing Washington Nationals play baseball in their charmless stadium year after year after year. So he spent $60,000 between $60,000 and $200,000 in debt spread between 3 credit cards and a personal loan. I mean, that's a lot of money. Raj Shah, Deputy White House Press Secretary, offered that some of the debt may have been related to home improvements, but it appears the vast majority of it, tens of thousands of dollars, not hundreds of thousands, was spent on ticket plans to watch the Nationals glide through meaningless regular season games and then bomb out of the playoffs with all the reliability of the sun going up and down and setting in the morning. Yeah, so that's what we got. That's what we got. We got literally a baseball addict as the next Supreme Court nominee. That is good. That's quite good.